Okay, so for tonight's class, we're going to be talking about the month of Sivan, which we are deep into, and all of the spiritual energies that are connected to this. So, of course, this is relevant to the holiday that we have in the month of Sivan, which is Shavuos, which is the getting of the Torah. And so we're going to talk about how that is connected, as well as the constellation of Gemini, Ta'omim, twins, and we're going to be looking at the month from many different angles, many different parts of the month, including that there's a letter that's connected to the month, including that there is a certain trait which is connected to the month, and there is a certain tribe which is connected to the month. And this is all based on the writings of the Arizal and the writings of the Sefer Yetzirah, which is attributed to Avram Avinu. So without further ado, so the most fundamental thing about the month of Sivan really shows up in the number of the month, and Sivan is the third month because we start with Nisan, and so Nisan Iyar Sivan. Okay, so this is the third, and there's a rule that the third is always the best. The third is always the greatest. It's the most perfect. And we talk about Yaakov Avinu as being the Bechir Sheba Avot, as being the most perfect of all the forefathers. And the reason is because the number 3 represents balance. Okay, that number 1 goes to one side, number 2 goes to the other side, and that's bipolar. And then the number 3 is what balances between them. Okay, so that's why in Kabbalah 3 represents Tiferet. Tiferet is about beauty, and beauty is in balance, is in symmetry. Okay, so when things are balanced, the ability to balance between two opposite energies, so that's called Tiferet, and that's represented by the number 3. Okay, it's not by chance that Tiferet is the third midah. It's that this is the essence of what Tiferet is all about. That the number 3 is that after you have a number 1 and a number 2, so the 3 is what combines those two and brings them together. Okay, so now to understand why Torah is connected to 3, why Torah is connected to balance, so we have to understand that there's a certain tendency of mankind that we like extremism. Okay? That there's a certain tendency to always be attracted to extremism, and there's some people that they like to stand out in a certain thing that they do. We see in different groups of Judaism. So there's people that there's certain groups that their thing is learning Torah, and we like the only thing that we look at is learning Torah, and the only thing that we appreciate is learning Torah. And then there's different groups that their thing is davening, and they're into davening 10 hours a day and shouting when they daven and crying when they daven. And there's other people that their thing is chesed, and they're always spending all their time helping people. And everybody has some people have their thing is guarding their eyes, and that's the thing that they put all of their energy. And some people that's all about only having kosher smartphones, and a particular thing that they're very extreme about the thing, and so what's the thing about that? It's nice because when something is very spicy, so then you taste it very strong. Okay? When you go to a certain extreme about something, when you do something to the nth degree, so then it's very, very much like present in your life, and it gives you a good feeling. Like this, like I feel this, I know this, and I know that there's something really, really serious that I'm doing. It's really a very physical thing, a part of my life. So the problem is that whenever I put all my energy into one thing, so by nature, I'm going to be putting other things on the side. Okay, if I'm going to be putting all my energy into one thing, so then it's going to come at the expense of other aspects of my life, other aspects of my Judaism, other aspects of how I'm going to try to succeed in life. And if I'm going to put all of my efforts into my relationship with Hashem, it's going to be at the expense of my relationships with my friends and with my family. I'm going to put all my energy into my family. It's going to be expensive of Hashem and my friends and my career. And if I put all my energy into my career, it's going to be expensive of everything else. And so, if I'm going to do anything to the nth degree, so then I'm going to feel good about myself because I see that I'm succeeding in that one particular thing. But the thing is that there's more to life than that one thing. Okay, so there's a built-in problem with extremism, with focusing on one thing and doing it to the nth degree, and that is that by nature you're not going to be be crossing off, by checking off all of the boxes in life. Okay, so that's where balance comes in. Okay, and that's where what Hashem wants from us is not that we should be extreme in one thing, but rather that there's lots of elements of life, and to always know what is the exact particular thing to do at this moment. And that is the secret to life. The secret to life is to know which part of my life I need to be focusing on at this particular moment, and how to balance between all these different parts. Okay, and this is what Torah is all about. Torah is all about. It's all encompassing. Torah is by nature all encompassing, and it requires that a person is not going to just focus on one thing and be all out in that one thing. It requires him to really look at every single aspect of life, every single element of his life, and do it in the most perfect way. This is something that the Kobe have shared with you before. That this is something that there's a story with Napoleon, that Napoleon was obsessed with the Jewish people. And there's numerous stories about the fact that he was very into the Jewish people, and the story about Tisha B'Av, they hear people crying and whatever, and so there's. So once one of his ministers, he was anti-Semitic and he wanted to make fun of the Jewish people. So he went to Napoleon and he said, His Highness, these Jews, I understand that you're very into them, but I read something really weird. It says that they actually have laws about how to use the restroom. You believe it? Like these people that you're so into, that this is what they're learning all day, that they're learning in yeshivas how to use the restroom. What do you say of that? Do you really think that you should be so admiring them? And so he thought for a moment, and he said, "Wow, that's truly, and it's actually true. Like in Shulchan Aruch and Siman Bet, there's something called Hachos Beis HaKisei, and there's certain elements of being modest in the bathroom and whatever. There's the different halachas, and so Napoleon thought, and he said, if that's really true, so then it's really they're even greater than I realized, because they realized that there is no element of life that shouldn't be done in the most perfect way." Okay? And that there is no time that like a person thinks to himself that God, you can have your time. I'm going to go to shul, and then I'll be the best Jew that I can in shul, but the rest of my life, come on, let me be. And they said, no. Even when you're doing business, you have to be a good Jew, and even when you're talking to your family, you have to be a good Jew. And the guy says, okay, fine. Okay, so I'll be a good Jew even when I'm, but God, let me just use the John, and we say no. There is no time out. You're going to do every single element of your life in the most perfect fashion, and that's the balance that's the all-encompassment of Judaism is that it's actually telling you it's a full program. Somebody once gave a metaphor that the difference between a restaurant and a personal trainer. That in a restaurant, so you got a menu, and you say, I think this looks exciting, this looks interesting. Give me that, and you order whatever you want. And when you with a personal trainer, so you say, I'm in the mood to do my arms today, okay? And he looks at you and says, of course you want to do your arms, because your arms are great. You don't need to work on your arms. Today you need to work on your legs. And that's the reason why you don't want to do it is because that's what you need. So the Torah, because it talks about every single element of life, so you don't have you don't have this possibility of saying, okay, I'm just going to focus on what I'm good at and not work on the things that I actually need to work on. So the Torah is telling me that every single element of my life has to be perfected. Okay, so this is the idea of the all-encompassment of the Torah, okay, which is bringing me the balance, and it requires that I'm constantly balancing between different parts of my psyche, between different parts of my soul. Meaning that sometimes the part of my soul is a desire for chesed, desire for connection, desire for love, desire for kindness, desire for for being soft. And part of my psyche is about being strict, and is about being strong, and is about being very, very motivated, and being very strong, and being unwavering, and so sometimes I need to be very soft, and sometimes be very giving, and sometimes I need to say no. Sometimes I need to say that this is wrong. This needs to be destroyed. We need to get rid of this. We need to fight a war against this. You have the people that let's just all love each other, and let's just all get along. And you have the people that are like, everything they see fights, and so this is because they like the extremism, because when they're overwhelmingly loving and connecting, so then they feel good about themselves. They feel like, yes, I'm special because I'm more loving and more connecting than everybody else. And when you have the person that's more fighting, and everybody that he sees, so he has something, he said, no, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, so then he feels like a fierce warrior god, and he's like I got the biggest olam haba today because I told 500 people that they're not sneers enough, and so that makes them feel like I'm so special, and the truth is that the secret to life is to be able to balance, that there is a place in my soul which is about connection and love and peace and acceptance, and there's another part of my soul which is about gevura and strength and fighting the evil in the world, but the secret of life is to be able to find balance between them, to be able to know that you need to have both, and you need to know when you should be like this and when you should be like this, and to be able to be all-encompassing. Okay, so this is why the number 3 is, by definition, something with a defining factor of the month of Sivan, because Sivan is all about getting the Torah, and getting the Torah requires balance in life. Now, this is true on another level as well. And by the way, this is we're already touching on the essence of the constellation of the month of Sivan, because the constellation of the month of Sivan is Gemini, which is Tomim, which is twins. Okay, so twins is by definition is about 2. It's about 2 in where it comes from, like the Greek signs for it's a 2. It's like the number 2. That's the sign of the sign of Gemini, and like the Roman numeral for 2, and so that's why it's a perfect month to get married, you know? And the truth is, like it is wedding season. I think it's really built into the energy that this is time that a lot of people are getting married, and it's all about bringing these ones together and making sure that the ones don't exist by themselves. They're bringing the ones together, and so what's the idea? What's the idea of the Gemini, the twins? So there's the Torah is the element of the twins. That the Zohar says that Oraita da Raza de Ta'amim, that the Torah is actually the secret of twins, because the Torah is actually twins. So what does it mean the Torah is twins? What does it mean the Torah is twins? So there's different elements of the twinship of the Torah. Number one, that you have the Torah is actually a twin because it has the written Torah and the oral Torah. Okay, what's the difference? What's the difference between the written Torah and the oral Torah? Torah Shebiksav and Torah Shebal Peh. So Torah Shebiksav is a certain expression of the Torah that I wouldn't say it's even so practical. That there's in Torah Shebiksav there's certain very fierce things. There's very strict things. In fact, I once met a girl that says that told me that she's not so impressed with the God of the Tanakh. That he always gets so angry. Like whenever people don't listen to him, so he says, "That's it, I'm gonna kill you," and like. and like she was like she didn't like what she saw, and the Torah is full of, and if you do this then you will surely die, if you do that you'll surely die, and if you do this you'll surely die, and even things like even things that like it seems to us that they don't deserve it at all. And Chazal even has questions such as there's something called a ben Mara, that like a 13-year-old kid that he's into meat and wine. Okay, and he's into meat and wine, and he steals a little bit, and we kill him. We kill him for eating meat, and drinking wine, and stealing even once. So then we kill him, and it's like whoa, that's so intense. It's so and moreover, there's things in the Torah that it says in the written Torah that it says an eye for an eye. It says an eye for an eye. If you knock out somebody's eye, so we knock out your eye, and that's like whoa. That sounds so. It sounds so intense. So the truth is that none of these things are actually true. None of these things are actually practical, and that's why we have Teresh B'al Peh. Teresh B'al Peh tells us that a lot of things that are written in the Torah aren't actually meant to be carried out. For example, when it says an eye for an eye, it actually does not mean it. It actually means that you have to pay a monetary fine. When it says that that a ben Saramara should be killed, it actually the Torah actually hinted to different criteria that are actually impossible to ever carry out, to the point that the Gemara says that never in history was there ever a ben Saramara in capital punishment in general. So the oral Torah gives so many criteria to when you're supposed to kill somebody that when Rav Moshe Feinstein was asked, does Judaism believe in capital punishment? So his response was that no, we actually don't believe in capital punishment. That the whole reason why the Torah talks about capital punishment is only as a deterrent. It's only to scare people off. But really, the Gemara, the Torah, the Torah wants that the capital punishment should never ever be carried out. And there's even it would seem that one of the only times that the capital punishment was ever carried out was only the 2 times in the Torah itself that talks about capital punishment, meaning the guy that cursed God and the guy that broke Shabbos, and those times were very, very exceptional. So Torah B'al Peh softens the Torah Shebeksav. It talks about how Torah Shebeksav is considered masculine and Torah B'al Peh is considered feminine, and the zivug, the bringing together between the Torah Shebeksav and Torah B'al Peh is like a chatuna. It's like a wedding between the two. That's the ta'omim. So that's the first element of the Torah being twins is that it's bringing together this strict look on life with a more soft look on life. And the question is that why do we need a Torah Shebeksav? Why do we need a Torah Shebeksav? But the truth is that the Vilna Gaon explains that it's important, even though you need to live a soft life, even though you need to live a accepting life, but it's important to know that there is a truth. It's important when the Torah is right, the eye for an eye, it's because the Torah wants you to know that life's not a game. You actually deserve to lose your eye. He's going to go through his entire life now without an eye. It's because of you. You really deserve to be punished with the same pain that he's going through. We're not going to do that because that's very violent. But you should know the truth. You should know the truth. I once heard I don't remember who said this, but there was an explanation on the pasuk we say in Ashrei, Tzadik Hashem b'chol derachav, v'chasid b'chol ma'asav. Okay, so the Torah, the pasuk we say in Ashrei, that we differentiate between Hashem's derachim, Hashem's ways, which could be understood his philosophies, his values, the things he stands for, and the chassid b'chol ma'asav, and he's a chassid when it comes to his actions. Okay, so what's the difference between tzaddik and chassid? That a tzaddik is a person who, it's from the word tzedek. Tzedek means justice. Okay, so a tzaddik is a person who follows the laws. He goes by the laws. So Hashem is very strict. He's very, very to the T when it comes to his values. He's not wishy-washy. Hashem is not wishy. There's no room for wishy-washiness in what are your values, what is the truth. But the chassid, he bends over backwards to be accepting and nice. Chassid from the word chesed, for the word kindness. So chassid is a person that goes beyond the letter of the law. And so he's chassid b'chol ma'asav. When it comes to the practicality, so forget about what I believe in. Forget about what's the truth. But right now this guy needs a hug, so I'm just going to give him a hug. Okay, so Hashem is. So we need to be very, very strong in our values, to be very, very to know that the truth is the truth, but that doesn't require that we're going to go to protests every time that the world isn't working exactly the way that the truth should be in our, like the way we see things. So meaning that you can have a person that is very, very into their values and into their truths and into their ideals, and because they're so obsessed with their ideals, so whenever they see that the values aren't being carried out, so then they can't stand that. They go crazy. And then you have another person that's like, okay, whatever, it's all good, let's just all be friends, and then like the next thing you know, so like we have a two-state solution, and it could be worse than two-state solution, and then you have the Torah. The Torah says that there's a middle ground. There's a balance. There's a balance, that you have to have a balance between your truths and your behavior. Okay, you have to have the balance between your din and your chesed. Okay, and that's what Tiferet is all about. Okay, so that's one element. That is one element of the duality of the Torah, the twinness of the Torah. Why the Torah is connected to the constellation of Gemini. Now, there's another one as well. There's another element. There's another idea, which is the essence of the Torah, the twinness, this twin personality of the Torah, and that is that the Torah twins together between the world of spirituality and the world of physicality. Okay, so this is an important thing. This is something that is it's a huge idea. It's a huge idea in Hasidus specifically, but really in Judaism, because the two are one and the same, of course. And the idea is that it says that Sinai, the word Sinai, which by the way, that some claim that the word Sivan, that the name of the month Sivan is connected to Sinai. We got the Torah at Sinai, and the Samach and the Yud and the Nun are the same. So the only difference is like there's a vav in Sinai there's a Yud, instead of having a vav in Sivan, and so the Sinai. So why is it called Sinai? So the Midrash says that the reason why the Torah was given at Sinai is to hint to the fact that Shiada Sin'a Liolam. Okay, meaning that Chazal are noticing that the words Sinai and Sin'a are very similar. We find in numerous places in Torah that Samech and Sin, because they're pronounced the same, so they can be interchanged. For example, there's a word Sota that sometimes it's written with a Samech, sometimes it's written with a Sin. Okay, there's other words as well. They don't come to my mind at the moment, but. So they connect the word Sinai with Sinah. Sinah means hatred. Okay, what the hatred that came down to the world? The Sinah that came down to the world is Sinah to the Jews. That when the Torah was given, until we got the Torah, so then the non-Jews didn't hate us. Now that we got the Torah, now the non-Jews hate us. Okay, so what is the secret to anti-Semitism in the world? Okay, where does it all come from? It all comes from the fact that we got the Torah. It all comes from the fact that we got the Torah. This is on numerous levels. I want to share with you one idea that I heard from Rabbi Tatz from South Africa, and he was going on the idea he was talking about Avraham Avinu, but the truth is that the Lubavitch Rebbe says that this is something which is specific after we got the Torah. Okay. Rabbi Tatz talks about Avraham Avinu. He asks, why was it that Nimrod, why did he hate Avraham Avinu so much? Why did Nimrod want to kill Avraham Avinu? Like that he was anti-Avodah Zarah. Like, why? So what? Why is that? Why did that bother him so much? He wasn't the first person in the world to He wasn't the first person in the world to be anti-Avodah Zarah. In fact, there had been a monotheistic movement in the world already from Shem Ve'ever. From Shem Ve'ever, Shem was the son of Noach, and he had yeshiva. And in fact, Yaakov Avinu learned in the yeshiva Shem Ve'ever for 22 years, and there's like it was a place to go. Moreover, he asked another question that when Rivka was pregnant with Yaakov and Esav, so she says that she was confused, that she she seemed like he was like going to opposite places. He was into shoals, he was into Avodah Zarah, he seemed doing stuff. So she was confused. She wanted to ask a rabbi. And so like when something weird is going on in your life, so I've heard many times, Rabbi, do you know a Kabbalist I could talk to? Okay, and so like I'm always like, my first reaction is always, why do you have a question in Kabbalah that you want to ask him? And so no, so of course not. They don't know a thing about Kabbalah, but the thing is that for the past 3 weeks at Monday at 3:00, so the tripped and fell, and they want to know what that means according to Kabbalah, or like, and so they have like something's going on in their life that it doesn't seem to make sense. It seems to be too good to be true, too bad to be true, and that maybe I have some curse on me that the Kabbalist is going to see. So I just want to put on the table that we don't have people that's not what Kabbalists are. That's really, really not what Kabbalists are. That being a Kabbalist does not give you supernatural abilities to know every secret of the universe and to know exactly what, like, there is such a holy thing as Ruach HaKodesh. That you have people that have Ruach HaKodesh, but being Kabbalist is not synonymous with having Ruach HaKodesh, and I have no reason to believe that there's anybody alive today that has Ruach HaKodesh. It could be. I mean, I do believe that there's Lamilav Tzanikim somewhere out there, but like the last person that we knew that had Ruach HaKodesh was Ruchaim Kanievsky, and he's not with us anymore. So I don't really certainly the fact that somebody's a Kabbalist does not mean that they know every secret of everything that's going on. But that's what Rivka was trying to do. Rivka wanted to go to the biggest Kabbalist to go to tell her what's the secret of my stomach, and so who'd she go to? So you would think that who's the holiest man in the world? You know, you would think that her father-in-law Avram Avinu, like she ask her husband. Her husband is Yitzchak Avinu. She go to her father-in-law, to Avram Avinu, and who she go? She goes to Shem Ve'ever. So what's up with that? Okay, so Rabbi Tatz explained that the truth is that Shem Ve'ever were actually the spiritual gurus of the world. And that's why when you want to go to the most spiritual person around, so you don't go to Avram, you don't go to Yitzchak, you go to Shem Ve'ever, because that's where they're learning, that's where they're really getting close to God in the most spiritual way. But Avram Avinu, what he represented was that, it didn't bother Nimrod. It didn't bother Nimrod to have Judaism, to have a monotheism that's all about connecting to God, going to a hilltop and having a silence retreat for 2 weeks, and to just like meditate for 24/7. Like that's okay. That's okay. The problem was getting back from the retreat, and Avram Avinu, so he didn't just talk to God, but he said that because I talk to God, that's going to make a difference in my physical life. Okay? And that is where he crossed the line. That if you're going to tell me, Nimrod is saying that, like, you want to worship your God, that's your business. But you're going to tell me that because there's a God, so therefore I have to change the way I live my life. And that's what he was doing. He wasn't just spreading monotheism. He was saying, what he told people, that you should thank Hashem for the food that you ate. You should be moral. You shouldn't hurt people. You shouldn't. He was spreading the 7 Noachide laws. He was telling that because there is a God, therefore something, and that is what he couldn't. That is what he couldn't stand for. That's why he hated him so much. So there's a famous story, I think I've shared it before, that when once the Chazon Ish, it's a hot topic now, the Haredim going to the army. It all started with a meeting with the Chazon Ish and Ben Gurion, because the Ben Gurion was a big fan of the Chazon Ish. He had a lot of respect for the Chazon Ish, and so as a token of his appreciation for the Chazon Ish, so he acquiesced that anybody in Shiva shouldn't have to go to the army, but during that meeting, so there's a famous part of this conversation that when he presented himself, when he showed up, so Ben Gurion said that Rabbi, I'm proud to present myself that I'm a believing Jew. I'm a believing Jew, but the Chazon Ish wasn't so impressed with him, and he snapped at him, and he said, "Oh yeah, and what does your emunah obligate you in?"
Your emunah what?
What does your emunah obligate you in?
Oh.
Like what does that trickle down to? What does that translate into, the fact that you have emunah? And so Ben Gurion said nothing at all, which is a silly thing to say. He should have said Zionism. He should have said but he said nothing at all. And he said, there's the secular world is upset about Ben Gurion for this conversation, because the famous thing about in the conversation about the yeshiva boys not going to the army. So the Chazon Ish said a famous metaphor about the halacha that if you have two wagons and they both come to the top of the hill and there's only room for one. So the question is, who goes first? So if one of the wagons is full and one of the wagons is empty, so we give precedence to the wagon which is full. So the one who's empty has to let the full wagon go by. And so we, the religious Jews, our wagon is full. And you, the secular Jews, unfortunately, you've emptied out your wagon and you no longer carry the yoke of mitzvahs. So the one with the empty wagon should have to make room for the. And so, of course, the secular community was very, very angry at him. That how dare you say that we have an empty wagon and we're full of values, we're full of secular values. Anyway, so he didn't know. He was Hashem put the words into his mouth that look where secularism is going to bring you. You're going to be pro-Palestinian in 70 years from now, And so anyway, so he said that it doesn't obligate me anything at all. And so the Chazon Ish told him there is no emunah in the entire world that doesn't obligate a person in anything at all. There's no. The definition of emunah is something that tells you how to live your life, and so the end of the conversation was that the Chazon that he said, he retorted, "Oh really? Have you really read every book of every religion in the world, and you can tell me for a fact that there's no religion in the world?" And so the Chazon Ish says, "Okay, Adrabah, so you clearly have read every book of religion, so you tell me, name me one religion that there's an emunah that doesn't obligate you in anything." And he says, "I'll have to get back to you on that." So the Chazon Ish was saying that the very nature of emunah is that because I have a relationship with God, it needs to trickle down into the way I live my life. Okay? That there needs to be a connection between my relationship in the spiritual realm and how I'm going to live my life. And if my learning Torah, I remember when, soon after my Rosh Hashiva passed away, so his son Rabbi Yelol, was the new Rosh Hashiva. And I remember that he was giving, I think it was before Shavuos, that he was saying that you have to know that you was talking to the yeshiva, that you're learning Torah all day. If your learning Torah is not changing you, if it's not shaping you to be a better husband, to be a better father, if it doesn't make you into just a better human being, then you're doing something wrong. Then the Torah that you were learning is worthless. That the purpose of the Torah is that because you have a deep relationship with God, it's going to affect you in every area of life. And if it's not, then you're learning the wrong Torah. You're just, don't waste your time. Don't waste my time. Don't waste my money. That's not what Torah is supposed to be. Torah is supposed to be that because you have a deep relationship with God, so that everyone sees that every element of your life is simply better. Okay, so this brings us to the trait. We said that the Sefer Yetzirah says that there's a trait which is connected to every month. So the trait which is connected to the month of Sivan is hiluch, which is walking. Okay, and the word hiluch sounds like another word we have in Judaism, which is halacha. Okay, So why do we call halacha halacha? Because the purpose of the rules is to allow us to walk. Okay, so this is the way to go through life. This is the way that we're going to be successful in every area of life, and so it's specifically through knowing what is the best way. What is the best way to have? What is the best way to speak when I have conversations? What should I say? What shouldn't I say? When I'm having a meal, what kind of food should I eat? How should I eat? How should I be acting on Shabbos? How should I be acting around my friends? How should I be acting in my business interactions with my parents, with my kids, with my neighbors, in every element of life? What's the perfect way to live? So this is why the halacha is specifically this, and that's why there's a very beautiful teaching from the Arizal that it says we say this in Pesukei Zimra, in Mizmor Todah, it says Haviu LaHashem Kol Haaretz. Haviu LaHashem Kol Haaretz. So the Arizal teaches that if you look at the first letter of these words, Haviu LaHashem Kol Haaretz, it spells halacha. And it's actually straight. Haviu LaHashem Kol Haaretz. So what is the essence of halacha? What is the essence of halacha? That how is it that Haviu LaHashem Kol Haaretz? How is it that the land, that the physical elements of reality, that they are singing the praises of God? So that it's through halacha, that halacha is all about being in the physical world, and that showing that I don't have to just lock myself up in the Beis Medrash and be close to God on a hilltop, but I want to be part of a physical reality, and that is where the entire world is going to sing the praises of God, because I'm going to bring what I learned from yeshiva, from seminary, and bring that into every single area of my life. And it's not just like a memory that I have, like pictures of what it was like. It was such a good year. No, it's like it's a building year. It's a year that's supposed to shape the rest of your life. It's supposed to shape every interaction of everything you ever do. So this is what halacha is all about, and this is also connected to the tribe, which is connected to the month of Sivan, and that is the tribe of Zevulun. Okay, what do we know about Zevulun? The truth is we don't know so much. There's no characters, there's no Torah personalities that are reported to have been from the tribe of Zevulun, but Zevulun is famous for one thing, that there's actually a halachic ramification of this, and that it says, the Torah says that Moshe Rabbeinu gives a bracha to Yisachar and Zvulun in the very same pasuk. It says, Smach Zvulun b'tzetecha v'Yisachar b'ohalecha. Rejoice Zvulun in your outings, b'tzetecha, when you go out, v'Yisachar b'ohalecha, and Yisachar, you should rejoice in your tent. So what's the tent? So Chazal say that the tent is referring to the tent of the Beis Medrash. It says that by Yaakov Avinu Yoshev Ohalim, that it's referring to learning Torah. So Chazal asks, why is Zvulun and Yisachar in the same pasuk? So they say that what were the outings of Zvulun? So it says that they were merchants, and they're actually in Eretz Yisrael. Their portion is on the what you call? It's on the beach. It's on the port, the port city, and so that's why one of the supporting facts to the fact that what we identify today as the Tchelet is actually the Tchelet, something, it's Murex, something, I forgot the full Latin name, that it's because it's actually found in the part of Israel. It's that they find the fish for these snails in the part of which is actually the inheritance of Zevulun. Okay, so they were always living on the part. They were always going out. They were always doing their business interactions, and so why were they doing it? Because they actually had a shutvas. They had a partnership with Yisachar. Yisachar was learning in yeshiva, and Zevulun was supporting them, and it wasn't for free. But rather, they had an agreement. The Midrash says Yisachar had an agreement with Zevulun that Zevulun says, we're going to support you, and you're going to give us half of your merit of learning Torah. Okay, so you're gonna learn, and you're gonna be partners in our business interactions, and we're gonna be partners in your learning. Okay, so from here we learned that a person can make a business partnership with a Talmid Chacham, a person who's learning all day. So a person who's a businessman that is jealous of him, that he wants to have a share in Torah. So he can say, listen, I'm going to support you, and there's the whole different discussions of how exactly do you have to do it. Do you actually have to give him half of all your money? Do you have to give him like a full? Can you do it in part? Anyway, it's lots of discussions. But the point is that they had this partnership, and Zevulun's partnership in Torah was in the physical aspect, in the financial aspect of supporting Torah. Okay, and so the thing is that being said, so it's actually counterintuitive. You would have thought that the month that has to do with getting the Torah should be connected with the Yisachar. It's not about supporting Torah. It's about learning Torah. And so the Torah is actually telling us that no, that what's unique about getting the Torah is that before we got the Torah, then spirituality could have just been in the Beis Medrash. But once we get the Torah, what's special about getting the Torah is that from now on, your connection with God can no longer just be in the Beis Medrash, can no longer just be with intense meditation. Now your relationship with God has to be in the physical world. And that's why there's a fascinating thing that it says in the Gemara that Shavuos has a specific connection with the physical enjoyment, meaning that on Yantiv, so it says that if a person wants to, there's a discussion in the Gemara, if a person wants to have an all spiritual Yantiv, I want to just sing to Hashem 24 hours of Yantiv. That's going to be my Yantiv. I don't like eating on Yantiv. I just want to meditate, and that's how I have a good time. So the Gemara says that you're allowed to. If you want to do it, you want to have a spiritual Yantiv, you're allowed to do that. You want to have a physical Yantiv, you can do that. But there's one exception. Hakol meidim batzeres to be in a nami lachem. But on Shavuos, there's no exceptions. You have to have your cheesecake. You have to have. I'm joking about cheesecake. You don't have, but you have to have physical enjoyment. That this is the one holiday that there's no way out of it. That you're absolutely obligated to have, not meat obviously, but you absolutely have to have physical eating enjoyment on Shavuos of all Yantivs. And this is telling you the same thing. That what's unique about getting the Torah is not that now we have a spiritual connection with God. What's unique about getting the Torah is now our spiritual connection, it spills out into every single area of our physical realities. Okay? And that is why Torah is a balance. Torah requires having this balance, having this ta'omim, the twinship of Torah is twinning between the spirit.
Is there me in here? Is there gonna be me in here?
No.
Sorry for interrupting. Is there a yarmulke here?
So the twinship, the Gemini of Torah is that it's bringing together between the physical and the spiritual. And so it's a bit before we got the Torah, it would have been enough to just be spiritual, to just meditate and just be connected like that. But after we got the Torah, so then that's no longer enough. And this is why Nimrod was so upset at Abraham, because you're telling me that this needs to affect my life. Like I'm all into a meditation, I'm all into a spirituality. It's good to have some aspect like that, to just escape and to be able to just close my eyes and everything is good and Hashem loves me, and then I can just go on and just live however the heck I want. But the Torah is telling me that there is absolutely, there's no time out. There's no, even when you're in the Jan, that you're always on call. You always need to bring Hashem's glory into every single aspect in every single aspect of your life. And this is also hinted to in the bracha of Zevulun, that it says b'tzeitecha, which says when you go out. When you go out. So when you go out, this is hinting to the fact that the going out, perfect. That what do you mean going out? So going out means that you're leaving the Beis Medrash. That I'm going to bring my Torah values into every single element of my life. Okay, and this is something which is very, very dear to the idea of Hasidus, because when it talks about going out, so there's a famous story, famous interaction that the Baal Shem Tov recorded, that in a letter to his brother-in-law, that he met with the soul of Mashiach. That the Baal Shem Tov met with the soul of Mashiach, and he asked the Mashiach, "Emase kasi mar?" When are you coming? When are you going to come? And so the Mashiach answered the Baal Shem Tov that I'm going to reveal myself that when your well springs are going to be spread to the outside, that's when I'm going to be able to come. Okay, when the teachings
disappointing answer.
Well, if you're Litvish, then it's disappointing. Then when the teachings of Chassidus, when the kind of Judaism that you're trying to bring out to the world, when it becomes widespread, that is exactly what the world needs, and that is exactly what's going to bring the world to its tikkun. And so the Lubavitch Rebbe said that we can infer from the fact that the Mashiach used the word chutzah. So what does it mean chutzah? It means the outside. It means that the essence of the word of Chassidus is that we bring Hashem's glory into the outside. When you go to the parts of my life, the parts of reality, the parts of the community that you would have thought are on the outside. I mean, one of the first things that Hashem Tov did is that he made the Torah relatable to even everybody, to even the simple, the peasants. That until then they thought that we can't understand deep esoteric ideas in Torah, so Judaism isn't for us. And the Hashem Tov told you, no, just wherever you are. That you can do it just exactly where you are. Hashem loves you exactly where you can have a deep relationship with Hashem, and it doesn't matter that it doesn't matter you don't know how to read, it doesn't matter that you're just working in the fields all day. Just bring Hashem into every single thing that you do, and that's the chutzah. That's the chutzah, and this I might add is a distinctly Hasidic idea, because there's a famous story that the Vilna Gaon, so once he was sitting with his friend Rabbi Yaakov Medubna, and the Dubner Maggid, and so he went sitting with Dubner Maggid, and he said Rabbi Yaakov, his name was Yaakov, Rabbi Yaakov, that please give me Musar, please chastise me, tell me how I could be a better Jew. And he says, Rabbi, come on, you're kidding, you're the holiest guy in the world, I'm not going to tell you Musar. And so please, I beg you, please give me some Musar. And so he said, so after begged him enough, he said, okay, Holy Rebbe, if you're forcing me to give you Musar, so this is the Musar that I want to give you. That, if you're learning in the Beis Medrash 18 hours a day, so it's nishkin kunz. It's not so impressive to be the Vilna Gaon if you're locked in Beis Medrash all day. But if you go into the streets of Vilna, then to be as holy as you are out in the streets, with interactions, either dealing with regular people, dealing with all elements of life. So that's something which is not so easy. And so the Vilna Gaon, so the story goes that he took this to heart, and he started crying. But after a couple of minutes of crying, so he says, Rabbi Yaakov, you're right, aber ich bin nicht kein Kunstmacher. I'm not a trick master. I don't do tricks. Meaning that you're right. And it is much easier to be as holy as I am, secluding myself in the Beis Medrash. And you're saying that it would be a bigger trick if I would be able to be on the outside, but I'm not looking to do tricks. I'm just looking to be holy. Okay? So it would seem that the Vilna Gaon was actually presenting an opposite approach. That our purpose in life is to be as holy as we can, and if that requires secluding ourselves and not being part of life, so then so be it. And this was something that the Baal Shem Tov was fighting against. This is the Baal Shem Tov was saying that no, it's not enough. It's not okay to just seclude yourself in the Mizvedish. That part of being a Jew is l'keshefutza meinasecha chutza. It needs to really go out into every single element of your life. So, okay, so this is what the month of Sivan is all about. This is what Gemini is all about. Now, it's about this balance is about bringing together different elements of life, bringing together different perspectives, and so that's why we find with our Geminis that the first of all they're into flexibility. That they have this talent, that they're very versatile, that they're always ready for new situations. They're always like they're easygoing in that sense, and the opposite of Tauruses. Tauruses are very stubborn. They're very like set in their ways, and a Gemini is very easy to like. Okay, sometimes it could be like this, sometimes it could be like this, because they have this way of like taking a step back and being able to say, okay, sometimes it could be like this, sometimes like that, and the bad side of being on this in the middle is they have a certain indecisiveness. Okay, it's really two sides of the same coin, and that because they're always living in both worlds, so it's hard for them to actually choose. And this is how the tikkun of the Geminis is to be able to not give up and to realize that just because I appreciate the goodness in both sides doesn't mean that I can't take the best from both. Okay, and to understand that there is a place for this and there's a place for that, and they can actually live in perfect harmony, because there's actually a time that I need to be like this, actually a time that I need to be like that, and so this is really where it really comes to. And the last point that we forgot to mention is that this is connected to the letter Zayin. Okay, because the letter Zayin, what does the letter Zayin represent? The Zohar says that the word Zayin is in Tanakh. It means Klei Zayin means weapons. Okay, what we call today neshek. We call today neshek is I don't know. It's a toned down. It's a toned down version. Neshek means kiss, right? Right? There's this funny story that there was this group of soldiers. There's a group of soldiers that apparently they hadn't been sleeping in 48 hours, and they were waiting for the bus. So a lot of them fell asleep, and the bus came, and they all get up in a frenzy, and they're getting on the bus. And one of the soldiers, because he had just woken up and he was so tired, so he forgot his gun. And so there was some girl, and he walks over and she walks over to him, and he says, and she says, "Chayal, shachachta nishika." So she mixed up between neshek. Neshek is how you say weapon, and she thought it was nishika. Nishika means kiss, and so he looks at her.
It's his lucky day.
So I says, "What?" And she looks at him and she says, "Chayal shachachta nishika," and she's really upset. She says, "Okay, quick." And he goes, and he starts walking over to her, and she's like, she doesn't know what's going on because he's not going in the direction of his gun, and so he said, "Chayal nishika." So anyway, so nowadays, I guess somebody thought that the word also in modern Hebrew Zayin also has bad connotations, but so they switched it. But really, the word Zayin in biblical Hebrew means weapon. Okay, and the Zohar says that what's the Zayin? That my Zayin is cherev nokemes dam bris. Okay, that Zayin, the letter Zayin represents a weapon, a sword, which is looking for blood. Okay, meaning Zayin represents this viciousness, this feeling of that I'm not going to stand for evil. I'm going to wipe him dead. I'm going to knock them dead. I'm going to destroy them. And the Zion represents that part of the Torah, even though the Torah is all about peace and is all about love, but that I'm not forgetting my values. I'm not forgetting that I actually have a truth. I'm actually that there's and this is why, because if you're gonna just stay in the basement the whole day, then you can just talk about love and peace. Okay, but if you're going to take your Torah into the outside world, so then you're unfortunately, and this is the problem.
It isn't really a religion of peace. It's like peace through strength.
Spiritual strength, and then if you're going to be, to talk about love and peace, to be lefty liberals is very sweet as long as you're in your conference room. But at the moment,
you live in the States,
but at the moment that you leave the conference room and you go into real life, then you need to have the Zion. Then you need to have this cherev no kemet dam bris. Then you need to know that there is evil in the world that needs to be obliterated. And so Sivan is reminding us that we need to have this balance. We need to be able to take our spirituality, to take our holiness and bring it into the real world. And that requires always thinking that which part of my psyche, which energy do I need to use at this particular time, which requires always being very all over the place and not being intense into one thing, being able always to know which is the energy that I need to use in this particular point in life. So I bless us all that we should be able to make the most of these last couple of days. We have a week and a half now of the energy of Sivan. That to be able to really be well balanced individuals, to be able to live in a world and bring all of the holy values into the world, and if that requires being fierce, so then we'll know how to be fierce, and the point is that through bringing the values into everything, so that the halacha will to zocha to a halacha, which is Hariul Hashem Kol Haaretz, that every single element of reality should be singing perfection, should be singing holiness, should be singing Hashem's glory. B'ezrat Hashem. L'chaim.